Well, do you have smart locks, smart thermostats, or a virtual assistant like Amazon's Alexa? I mean, these gadgets are cool and make life easier, but they also can leave you vulnerable. So how do you make sure that your home and personal information stays secure? Well, let's ask cybersecurity expert Danny Pehar, who joins us now. Danny, great to see you as always.
Yeah, great to be here.
All right, first, before we get into some tips, it's important you say to understand the Internet of Things. Can you explain that for us?
Absolutely. So the simplest way that I can explain it is imagine any device that has an on and off switch that can connect and communicate with the internet and with each other. So your alarm clocks, your TV, your coffee machine, anything like that, that's part of the Internet of Things.
Okay, and all of that is possibly making you vulnerable.
Absolutely. So we got endless opportunities, but now we have increased vulnerabilities because as you have access to the internet, other people have access to your devices.
Okay, so what sort of vulnerabilities are we looking at? Like if you do, say, online banking in your home, perhaps? Or?
So the fear would be, is if somebody gets access to one device that you think is seemingly harmless, like a toaster, once they're inside your network, the theory is they can get from there to something much more harmful to you and get access to something just like your banking information.
All right, let's run down a few tips, starting with, you say don't connect your device if you don't have to.
So I like this one because this one touches on a theme that you and I, Jeff, have discussed before about healthy paranoia being a good thing for security. So just because your toaster can connect to the internet doesn't mean you have to connect, right? Ask yourself, what are the benefits? And if you can't see any clear benefits of connecting a particular device, then hold off for now, err on the side of caution.
Is there an on-off switch where I can connect it when I want it and I'm using it and then turn it off again?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, enable all security devices, you say.
This one is seemingly a no-brainer, but it's so often not done. Most devices come with good security features, but they only work if you actually turn them on, right? Imagine having the best home alarm system. What good is it going to do you if you don't turn it on? So find out what they are and make sure they're enabled before you connect.
Okay, why are people not turning them on? Are they worried about chewing up data, that sort of thing?
No, honestly, I think it's just something that they haven't considered.
Yeah, okay. Number 3 is be up to date with firmware. What exactly is that?
So hardware vendors create security updates to keep up with all the new threats, and they do this for the software that powers our devices. This is called firmware. So it's always great practice to go to our vendors' websites and make sure that we have their latest firmware so that we can keep our security current.
Okay, so would you usually get I know sometimes I'll get a notification that my settings, that this needs updated. Will they automatically send you that notification? Or?
Oftentimes they do, but not always. But oftentimes, as we all know, those emails are sometimes ignored. So don't ignore them.
Okay, let's move on to passwords. Make sure it's a good one.
Yes, so this one's a no-brainer as well, but something that oftentimes is overlooked. Couple things here. One, don't keep your default password that the manufacturer set. So many people still do that. 2, when you have a password, make sure that it's something that's not easily guessable by everybody you know. And 3, try to have a different one for each device that you have. I know that sounds tedious, but at least this way, if somebody hacks one of your passwords, they don't get access to your whole life.
You know, I know a lot of people record their passwords and keep them like in the notes section on their phone. Is that a risk or a danger? Should you make a hard copy, write that down, put it in a drawer?
You know what? I'm old-fashioned. I prefer to write it down and put it in a drawer because that's not something that people are going to look for, and it's not something that's accessible to a hacker.
All right, and finally, consider the price.
That's my favorite one. Okay. So cheaper is not better when it comes to security. Historically speaking, devices on the less expensive end are more open to vulnerabilities, are more open to threats, and have less of those firmware updates that we talked about as so important for security. When it comes to your security, your family's security, don't cheap out. It's going to cost you more money in the long run.
All right, this is a growing concern as our homes become more and more smarter. Danny Pehar, our cybersecurity expert. Danny, great to see you as always, my friend.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll get a break, and we're back here on a Thursday morning. Stay with us. You're watching Global.